11 strange and terrifying beach moments caught on camera you won't believe. Hello and welcome to Discovery Fact. When most people think of the ocean, they immediately picture long stretches of white sandy beaches, crystal clear blue water, the soothing sound of waves rolling onto the shore, and breathtaking sunrises or sunsets. It's the classic image of the seaside that almost everyone dreams of experiencing at least once in their lifetime. But did you know that beneath this peaceful beauty lies a completely different world, one filled with mystery and discoveries that can send chills down anyone's spine? Some things have remained buried beneath the waves for hundreds or even thousands of years, only to be unexpectedly brought back to the surface by the tides. There are bizarre creatures with appearances so strange they seem like something straight out of a science fiction movie, yet they actually exist in the real world. And then there are mysterious natural phenomena so unusual that even scientists have yet to come up with a truly convincing explanation. What's even more astonishing is that many of these incredible discoveries have been made on beaches that appear completely ordinary, places where thousands of people casually walk every single day, never realizing that beneath the sand lie secrets beyond imagination. So if one day you were the first person to come across one of these incredible sights, what would you do? Would you let your curiosity lead you closer for a better look? Or would you turn around and run without looking back? In today's video, join Discovery Fact as we explore some of the strangest, most mysterious, and sometimes even terrifying discoveries ever found on beaches around the world. Trust me, by the time you reach the end, you'll realize that the ocean still holds countless secrets that humanity has yet to truly understand. A massive waterspout appears along Italy's coast. On the afternoon of November 20th, a powerful tornado accompanied by a massive column of seawater, known as a waterspout, formed off the coast of Salerno, Italy. After sweeping through the area, the waterspout caused damage to the harbor and several shipping containers along the shoreline. This wasn't the first time such a phenomenon had occurred there. In 2016, a waterspout in the same coastal area reportedly lifted an entire boat carrying people. A waterspout, or tornado over water, is a violently rotating column of air that extends from the surface up to a towering thunderstorm cloud, forming a funnel-shaped vortex that hangs down from the cloud like a giant trunk. These storms typically develop when warm, moist air blowing in from the bay collides with colder, drier air, creating clouds and thunderstorms. Under favorable conditions, the rising air begins to rotate rapidly around a central funnel, sometimes reaching speeds of more than 100 miles per hour. A tornado or waterspout officially forms when this funnel cloud makes contact with the surface. Waterspouts are powerful enough to suck up fish and other marine life, lifting them hundreds of feet into the air, and can even overturn boats caught in their path. Waterspouts can occur whenever warm and cold air masses collide, even during the night, although they are most common in the afternoon. They can last anywhere from just a few seconds to more than an hour, but most waterspouts that have been recorded last less than 10 minutes. The deadly beach, where airplanes seem to land just steps away. The island of St. Martin is the world's smallest island shared by two countries, covering a total area of just about 32 square miles. But it's even more famous for another reason. It is home to what many consider the world's most terrifying airport, where enormous airplanes fly just about 33 feet above your head. Princess Juliana International Airport, located on St. Martin in the Eastern Caribbean, lies about 186 miles from Puerto Rico and is part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The airport is named after Princess Juliana of the Netherlands, who visited St. Martin as crown princess in 1944. The airport has an unusually short runway, measuring just over 1.2 miles in length. Because of this, aircraft must make their final approach at an extremely low altitude as they fly toward the island. One of the most remarkable sights here is that visitors can relax on the beach while watching massive airliners descend so close that they seem almost within arm's reach. It's an experience that is both thrilling and nerve-wracking at the same time. Aviation experts have determined that this distance is safe for people standing on the beach. However, they also warn visitors not to stand too close to the aircraft's flight path, as the powerful jet blast can send loose objects flying, potentially causing serious injuries. Landing is only half the excitement. Before an aircraft takes off, visitors are often warned to prepare themselves for the wrath of the wind. As the engines power up for departure, the aircraft generates an intense blast of hot air and wind speeds that can reach about 250 miles per hour. Because the runway is so short, pilots must apply maximum engine thrust to get airborne as quickly as possible. The exhaust produced by a jet engine is incredibly powerful, about 800 times stronger than the airflow produced by a typical automobile. As if that weren't enough, the loudest noise ever recorded in this area reached 119 decibels, nearly the maximum sound level the human ear can tolerate, since our hearing range extends from 0 to about 125 decibels. There have been several incidents in which spectators watching planes take off failed to hold tightly onto the airport fence and were blown backward by the powerful jet blast. Fortunately, none of them suffered serious injuries, with heart-pounding experiences that include scorching heat, clouds of sand blasting through the air, powerful winds, and deafening engine noise. Maho Beach, located directly in front of Princess Juliana International Airport, has earned a reputation as one of the world's most dangerous beaches, a destination reserved for those who truly want to test their courage. Giant flesh-like sacks wash ashore on a beach in England. Helen Marlowe and her dog were taking a walk near Penzance, Cornwall, when they came across several large white masses lying on the sand. The strange objects were covered in seaweed and had a texture that resembled raw flesh. The discovery was made shortly after the tide had receded, suggesting that the mysterious objects may have been washed in from the deep ocean. Photos taken by Marlowe show the large white sacks piled together on the beach, not far from the shoreline. Marlowe said, "I don't know what it is. I can't compare it to anything I've ever seen before. All I can say is that it's organic material. I can't identify it for certain, but it looks like it could be the internal organs or the stomach of a whale." Shortly afterward, a research team from the Cornwall Wildlife Trust, CWT, reposted the photos on its Facebook page and stated that the objects were most likely part of a whale's stomach. Before scientists reached that conclusion, however, there were several other theories. Some people suspected the mysterious objects might have been a whale's placenta. Abby Crosby, a marine conservation officer at CWT, said that such an identification would be truly fascinating because it could indicate that a whale had recently given birth somewhere nearby. According to Crosby, although it is impossible to determine which whale species the organs came from, the sheer size of the remains suggests they likely belong to a large whale. Several whale species inhabit the waters around the United Kingdom, including humpback whales, fin whales, and minke whales. It is also possible that the remains came from a sperm whale, although that species is rarely seen in the area. However, the suspected whale stomach was never thoroughly examined by marine scientists because the incoming tide may have carried it back out to sea. Even so, the discovery offered an important glimpse into the marine life that inhabits the waters surrounding the United Kingdom. Ocean tides can carry all kinds of deep-sea creatures and mysterious objects onto shore. This is far from the first time strange discoveries have been made along a beach. A terrifying, mysterious creature washes ashore after a storm. Preeti Desai, a member of a non-profit organization dedicated to environmental conservation and protection, was helping clean up a beach in Texas after Hurricane Harvey when she made a shocking discovery: the decomposing body of a bizarre marine creature. The animal appeared to have been swept ashore by the powerful storm. Its body had already begun to decay, but what caught Desai's attention was its horrifying appearance. The creature seemed to have no eyes and was equipped with rows of razor-sharp teeth, leaving her completely stunned. Desai said it was the first time she had ever seen anything like it. She immediately called over several of her colleagues who were also working on the beach to examine the strange animal. However, none of them could identify what species it was. Desai then took photographs of the mysterious creature and posted them on her personal Twitter account, asking other social media users for help identifying it. After seeing the photos, many Twitter users suggested that the animal was some type of eel, although no one could say for certain. One of the leading theories was that it was a fang-toothed snaky eel, also known as the tusky eel, a species commonly found in the Gulf of Mexico. Tusky eels typically live at depths of about 100 to 300 feet and spend most of their lives hidden from view, although they occasionally venture into shallower waters. They do have eyes, but their eyes are extremely small. It is possible that the eyes on the specimen Desai discovered had already decomposed, making it appear as though the creature had no eyes at all. Dr. Kenneth Tigge of the National Museum of Natural History also believed that the animal Desai found was an eel. However, he suggested that it was more likely a different species of eel, or possibly even an eel species that has not yet been identified. Dr. Tigge also noted that it was unfortunate the creature's tail had already decomposed, because the shape and characteristics of the tail could have provided important clues for determining exactly which species of marine animal it was. The mystery of 7,500-year-old human bones with serrated edges washed ashore. A research team led by archaeologist Johannes Dekker from Leiden University in the Netherlands traced the origins of hundreds of strange bone fragments that had washed ashore along the Dutch coast not long ago. The objects resembled sharp serrated spearheads, yet they had all been crafted from bone. By analyzing the preserved proteins found in 9 of these bone points, the researchers made a chilling discovery. 7 of them were made from animal bones or deer antlers, but the remaining 2 were actually fashioned from human bones. According to the study, as cited by the Daily Mail, these unusual artifacts are between 5,300 and 7,500 years old, dating back to the Stone Age. Researchers believe they were carved into arrowheads or spear points, using the bones of some of the community's greatest hunters. The ancient people of Doggerland believed that by making weapons from the remains of individuals they deeply respected, they could inherit those hunters' strength and exceptional hunting skills. Remarkably, these were not merely ceremonial objects. Wear marks on the bone points show that they were actually used in real hunting expeditions. The study also revealed that spear points carved from deer bones or antlers carried their own symbolic meaning, as the red deer of the region represented speed and prestige. Doggerland was once a vast land bridge connecting what is now the United Kingdom to mainland Europe. However, rising sea levels submerged it beneath the ocean approximately 9,000 years ago. Even more remarkably, in the area that was once Doggerland, marine archaeologists have uncovered numerous remains of woolly mammoths, Ice Age lions, and many other artifacts left behind by ancient humans, offering a fascinating glimpse into a long-lost prehistoric world. Strange brown sea foam covers beaches in Australia. Heavy rain and powerful winds, bringing rainfall totals of more than 27.5 inches in some areas, battered coastal communities, and densely populated regions along the border between New South Wales and Queensland. More than 2,000 households lost power as a result of the storm. The sea foam not only kept people from enjoying the beach, but it also completely engulfed a dog, giving its owner quite a scare. According to scientists, sea foam forms when salt water interacts with the decomposing organic matter from marine life. Strong winds churn together organic waste, plankton, dead fish, and floating vegetation, creating thick foam that is then carried by the waves onto the shoreline. Australia is expected to experience a wetter than normal summer this year due to the La Niña weather pattern, which typically brings heavier rainfall and an increased risk of tropical cyclones. New crab species discovered wearing a fuzzy coat. On June 30th, an Australian family discovered a strange-looking crab that had washed ashore on a beach near the city of Denmark in Western Australia. They immediately sent the specimen to Andrew Hosey, the curator of crustaceans and worms at the Western Australian Museum. Hosey identified it as belonging to the sponge crab family, Dromidae, but he noticed that it looked highly unusual. According to Hosey, its fluffy appearance was the key feature that helped researchers identify the species. Sponge crabs are typically covered in hair, but their bodies usually resemble felt or velvet rather than the extremely shaggy coat seen on this specimen. Members of the sponge crab family use their sharp front claws to collect pieces of sponge and ascidians, a group of filter-feeding marine animals that includes sea squirts. They then use specially adapted rear legs to hold these materials on top of their bodies. Over time, the collected debris forms a kind of hat that helps conceal the crab from predators such as fish, octopuses, and other carnivorous crabs. Sponges can also release toxic substances, making the crabs less appealing to predators. After receiving the shaggy crab specimen, Hosey contacted marine biologist Colin McClay, a former associate professor at the University of Canterbury who has studied sponge crabs for decades. McClay confirmed that the specimen represented a previously unknown species. The new species was given the scientific name Lamarckdromia beagle in honor of HMS Beagle, the ship that brought the famous English naturalist Charles Darwin to Albany, Australia in 1836. This voyage is believed to have had a profound impact on Darwin, setting him on the path toward developing the theory of natural selection. In addition, the name beagle is also fitting for the new crab species because its fluffy reddish-brown hair resembles the distinctive coloring found on the face and shoulders of beagle hunting dogs. Mysterious 79-foot object sparks fear and speculation. In recent years, strange and unusual creatures have been washing ashore on beaches around the world. Most of them are the remains of marine animals. Some are easily identified, while others remain a mystery. From jellyfish to giant fish species, these discoveries have continued to surprise both local residents and experts alike. More recently, however, local residents in Florida discovered a mysterious structure approximately 79 feet, 24 meters, long, buried beneath the sand on a beach. According to local residents, Hurricanes Ian and Nicole caused significant coastal erosion in the area, exposing several unexpected objects that had been hidden for years. Unlike many other mysterious objects found on beaches, the structure uncovered in Florida appears to be made of wood and metal. However, its true nature and composition have not yet been determined. Tamara Malfers, a spokesperson for the Volusia County Beach Safety Department, said that erosion of this magnitude had not been seen in a very long time. She explained, "It has been a very long time since anyone has seen erosion like this. I've been on this beach for nearly 25 years, and this is the first time I've ever seen this exposed. I'm not sure what it is." After photos of the mysterious object were shared on social media and quickly went viral, people began speculating about its true identity. Many suggested that it could be a shipwreck or a major section of an old vessel. Others argued that the object seemed too small and too straight to be part of a ship. Earlier, local residents discovered a strange 26-foot long, 8-meter creature that had washed ashore near Bremen, Maine. It was the carcass of a basking shark, a massive animal roughly the size of a pickup truck. Despite its enormous size, the basking shark is harmless to humans. These sharks typically cruise near the ocean's surface with their mouths wide open, feeding on plankton and small invertebrates. The cause of the shark's death has not yet been determined. America's one-of-a-kind Glass Beach. Glass Beach is often described as one of the strangest attractions in the city of Fort Bragg, California. Instead of being covered with sand like a typical beach, Glass Beach lives up to its name, with its shoreline blanketed by colorful pieces of sea glass. These glass fragments are not sharp. Over time, the ocean has polished and rounded them until they resemble smooth pebbles. The beach is located within McCreeker State Park. The millions of glass pieces covering the shoreline did not occur naturally. As many visitors have noted, it is nature's way of reclaiming a landfill and a reminder of how time and crashing waves have corrected one of humanity's mistakes. In 1949, the area surrounding the beach served as a public dump. Residents of Fort Bragg threw all kinds of household waste from the cliffs above onto the beach below. Among the most common items discarded were bottles, glass, and even automobiles. By the early 1960s, local authorities began efforts to control the dumping of hazardous materials onto the beach. In 1967, the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board recognized the mistake of allowing the area to be used as a dumping ground and decided to close Glass Beach. Over the next 40 years, nature gradually transformed the shoreline. Ocean waves cleaned the beach and weathered the discarded glass, turning it into the small, smooth, sparkling, and brightly colored pebbles that can be seen today. Occasionally, visitors may still come across objects that serve as reminders of the beach's past as a landfill, such as a rusty spark plug. However, most of what you see today consists of millions of glass fragments shimmering in the sunlight, sparkling like crystals across the shore. The beach that glows at night in Cambodia. A beach that glows in the dark is one of Cambodia's most unusual tourist attractions. This natural wonder can be found on the beautiful island of Koh Rong in Sihanoukville, often referred to as the Forgotten Paradise. Koh Rong was once selected by the New York Times as one of the world's 45 must-visit destinations and has been described as Asia's little-known version of Hawaii. Koh Rong is Cambodia's second-largest island, covering more than 30 square miles, 78 square kilometers. It boasts approximately 27 miles, 43 kilometers of coastline and more than 23 stunning beaches. The island is famous for its unspoiled beauty, featuring soft white sand, crystal-clear warm waters, and a pleasant tropical climate. Visitors can also enjoy activities such as exploring spectacular coral reefs or taking fishing boat trips near the shore. What makes the island especially remarkable is what happens on moonless nights. At those times, the sea appears as if it has been enchanted by nature, shimmering with a phenomenon known as bioluminescence. According to scientists, these mysterious glowing lights are produced by bioluminescent plankton that emit a phosphorescent glow when disturbed or subjected to pressure. Research has shown that this phenomenon is caused by a species of marine algae known scientifically as Noctiluca scintillans, commonly referred to as sea ghost or sea sparkle. This organism is a single-celled life form that feeds on plankton while also serving as a food source for many other marine creatures. Although this phenomenon is common around many islands, glowing plankton can only be seen clearly in areas with very little light pollution. Therefore, if you are staying in Koh Touch or Saracen Bay, one of the easiest ways to experience the glowing plankton is by taking a boat trip or walking from the main pier to Police Beach. Rare ice eggs appear on a beach. Hundreds of ice formations resembling eggs recently appeared on Marjaniemi Beach on Hailuoto Island in Finland. This is a rare phenomenon that forms only under very specific conditions. Risto Matila, the man who photographed the ice eggs, said that he and his wife were taking a walk along the beach on November 3rd when they came across countless ice balls scattered along roughly 100 feet, 30 meters of shoreline. The largest one was about the size of a soccer ball. It was such a strange sight, something I had never seen before. He said, according to ice researcher Juni Vainio of the Finnish Meteorological Institute, this phenomenon may occur only once a year under very particular weather conditions. The air temperature must be slightly below freezing. The water temperature must be near the freezing point. The beach must have a gently sloping sandy shoreline, and the waves must be relatively calm. In addition, there must be some kind of core around which ice can accumulate. The waves then roll the ice formations back and forth along the shore, gradually causing them to grow larger over time. Dr. James Carter of Illinois State University in the United States explained that autumn is an ideal season for ice eggs because ice begins forming on the water's surface and can easily be moved by waves. As a result of the photographer sharing these images, the world can now witness a phenomenon that most of us will probably never see in person. And before we wrap up today's video, let's return to the mysterious photograph that appeared at the very beginning. This image was sent to the show by one of our viewers over the past week, and it just so happens to fit perfectly with today's theme of strange and unusual events found on beaches around the world. If you look closely, behind the young woman casually enjoying a swim in the ocean, there appears to be a dark figure with a very unusual shape. Could it simply be someone running by at the exact moment the camera shutter clicked? Was it a staged prank designed to fool viewers? Or perhaps it could be some mysterious creature that we have never encountered before. Each theory has its own arguments, but to this day, the photograph remains unexplained. What do you think? What do you believe is appearing in that image? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your perspective might just provide an interesting explanation that others have overlooked. If you enjoy mysterious journeys of discovery like this one, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Discovery Fact, and turn on notifications so you can join us for future adventures. Thank you for taking the time to watch. We wish you good health, happiness, and peace, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next fascinating exploration.